Our opening song is called Raging. It's from Stephen Cogswell. Get it at awtfy.com. That's AWTFY.com/rage.
And they're going to come in and hear spooky minor chords, and they'll be slightly freaked out. I mean, come on, whatever.
Fuck Muppets are hyphenate or a portmanteau. One of the two. Either way, Raging's one word and Fuck Muppets the second word.
Pussy cunt. Blank, blank.
Cunt.
Blank, blank.
Cunt.
Blank, blank.
Right, cunt.
Blank, blank. Pussy cunt.
Because right now, I am so craven.
Pride ourselves on doing no show prep or whatever.
Yeah, let me go turn the computer on.
Raging Fuck Muppet. Raging Fuck Muppet. Raging Fuck Muppet.
It's just so fucking cool for birds.
Man, I was going to say crush that puss. So you've also felt the tide of quick.
In fact, that song might be responsible for Oklahoma going pro legalization.
We are sorry that this happened.
Oh, god damn! It is Tuesday night, and we are live from the newly minted Diamond Club Studios deep in the heart of the 7-acre Schwood located smack dab on the Austin city limits. Hello, you beautiful demon hordes of the internet. It's live for Night Attack. My name is Brian Brushwood. As always, joined by my BFF and OAK. It's JRY, Justin Robert Young. What is up, buddy?
Oh my God, Brian,
Yes.
rare is it that we have a show like we have today. In fact, for the first time ever, we have a few special guests here in the studio. Introducing first for her first appearance in Diamond Club Studios on Night Attack, ladies and gentlemen, the invisible wife, Bonnie Brushwood.
Hello.
Oh my God, I have to out Bonnie right at the outset here. So here's the thing: we made jokes live on the air that this last week was the first broadcast from the new studio, and it wasn't until the next morning, and it's been a while since I've had this. I had what I used to call the BB Live Show hangover, where I woke up and my first thought was, I said what? And I walked over, and I going to confessional. I went to Bonnie, the invisible wife, and I was like, Bonnie, I said the C word a lot last night. And she did not respond how I expected her to. She responded with, I love that word.
Really? Gotta tell everybody. I already had to turn in my female card like a long time ago for using the word in front of another woman. So like they said, I'm sorry. You had to give me your card.
I guess Australians and women, they're in a very protected class.
But Brian, there is another. And that's the land from which our other first-time guest comes from. Ladies and gentlemen, the OG Britto, Wil Harris.
Hey-o! Hey, man. Cheers, mate. Is this the first time you've been on Night Attack? No.
First time
Sorry.
I've been on Night
I was thinking we were making the Jizzmake reference, which was back when we were doing NSFW. But you were on Night Attack live on stage at Nerdtacular. I don't think we've ever told the full story about this.
I don't think we ever want to.
Okay, I do know it involves the two of us getting lost on a motherfucking mountain. Oh my God. Walking through a tunnel, getting to the end of the tunnel to find a sealed door and a phone.
No. You're murdering this story.
Okay, go. Walk us through the whole thing. I am right on this much. At Nerdtacular, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago.
So we're at Nerdtacular 2017.
Which is at a ski resort during the summer.
Which is a mountainous resort during the summer. So we decide that we're going to take the chairlift up the mountain to a bar at the top of the mountain. And you're like, what could be better? It's a bar at the top of a mountain. This is amazing. And they call last call, and you've got to get the last chairlift back. And Brian says, I've been on this mountain before. I've been to Nerdtacular before. There's a better chairlift. If you just hike maybe a quarter mile this way, if you just go a little bit off-piste, then you can get the best chairlift, which gives you the best ride down with the views. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of dressed for summer. I've got like shorts. I've got like my suede.
Never mind the fact that we're walking
driving
through
shoes.
snow.
And so we have to walk through snow. We get to this chairlift. To get to the chairlift, you have to walk through a tunnel. We walk all the way through a tunnel, which at the end of the tunnel is closed. We pick up a phone that is at the end of the tunnel.
A landline phone.
The landline phone. We go,
And
hi.
it rings to the front desk.
We're at the front desk of the resort, and we're like, hi, we're in this tunnel. Can we get out of this tunnel? Can you open the tunnel so we can get out and get on this chairlift? And they're like,
we're at the end of a Scooby-Doo mine shaft, man.
it is a proper like Half-Life 2, like you've trekked for like 3 miles. And you're like, woof, 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 and you just want to crowbar the thing open.
And behind us is an actual museum exhibit of like animatronic, like, I used to prospect here. I used to prospect here. I used to prospect here.
And the guy on the end of the phone just says, no, you can't get out of that tunnel. That tunnel closed half an hour ago. And we were like, well, can you just open the tunnel? And they're like, no, we can't open the tunnel. You have to go back you have to go back. So having been like, right, I'm having.
Also, we're live streaming this.
We're periscoping it. So somewhere there is the periscope footage of it. And I'm like, right, I've placed my faith in Brian. I've gone to the top of the mountain in a chairlift. I just want a beer. I want to look at the mountain.
Right.
I want to take some panoramic photographs on my iPhone.
Let me pause this story right now because I barely know the rest of it, but I'm gonna tell you where the difference between me and you, Will, is. Because Brian would have said the same thing to me. I would have said, no, I'm not going to another chairlift. We're taking this chairlift down. For this reason. Not because I don't have a sense of adventure. Because I knew, because I was there, that at the same time that all this is happening, there's a costume contest. And I knew that one of our dear friends, April Ness, was going to submit herself in the costume contest as Brian Brushwood.
Complete with insane spiked hair and a fistful of cards and a torch in her hand. And I missed it because I was trapped in a Scooby-Doo mine shaft with the OG Britto.
So we had to walk.
I'm trying to send texts to Brian that are like urging and encouraging him to get to this facility as soon as possible.
And we're like, no, we're trying to get there as soon as possible, but apparently they shut the freaking mountain.
Well, and no, so it's this death of 1,000 cuts where you're constantly thinking like, it's not that bad, making it down as soon as we can, boss. Like at some point you have to write, we're trapped in a Scooby-Doo mine shaft. We're on a landline phone, and they're saying they won't open it for us.
You tried to.
We have to literally climb a goddamn motherfucking mountain to make it back home.
Brian tried to hey boss a fucking mountain. That's what we came back to. And so by the time I got back, I was like, my clothes are in ruins. Like I've dressed for like the walk from like the hotel to the chairlift to the bar to the chairlift to the hotel. I've done a cross-country trek down and up a mountain again.
All right,
I'm an absolute mess.
So far, there's been a lot of Brian's fault so far. Now we enter the realm
one question.
of
I
Will's fault.
I got one question.
Go.
Did you decide to take that route because there was a line to the other one?
There was a line 2 people long, and I'm like, nope, we're going down the haunted mine shaft.
I know. Like, that's what I'm thinking. You're just like,
So then comes the part where maybe I fuck up a little bit.
Okay, so I don't know anything of this part. This sounds more like the Justin part of the story.
I heard tale from my friend Will that he had not indulged in marijuana. And so, being the good friend that I am, and knowing that Will was coming out to America, said, oh, don't worry, I will bring you weed. Because I'm cool like that. Will says, all right, I'm not really a big smoker of anything, so if it's an edible, I would be more apt to try it. To which I say, fine. And I buy him a little chocolate bar. Now, this has been a thing that I've talked about a lot on the show, or at least in the after shows, that I have a Smokey the Bear-esque problem with chocolate, anything that is weed infused that you would normally, in your routine, eat all of. And the reason why is because of exactly what happened. When I hand Will a chocolate bar, and I say, hey,
for context, as a casual passerby of this whole scene, in my mental file, I remember sometime you came out to Austin, and I assume it's the same kind of chocolate bar with the weed in there and all that. I remember it being like midnight.
This last week, with the whole time quake thing that we told last week. That's like
we did talk about this. Yeah. I'm telling it mainly to Bonnie because I know Bonnie wasn't listening last week. I had one square of this. Justin had one square. We're like, ooh, I'm kind of tired. I'm going to bed. Good night. We woke up in the morning and you were running in the house with the kids and like I woke up like, oh dear. And I looked and I saw Justin and we locked eyes and it was like, oh dear. And so I'm like, I'm going to go run because that's something I can't do wrong. And so I went out and ran. Like edibles last a very long time and they're very, very intense once they kick in.
Wait, when was this?
I don't know, 3 years ago. It was Justin's fault. Blame California.
Specifically, if you've not fucked around with it, it is a thing. But the reason why I always, I'm morally against these kinds of edibles is because normally you look at a chocolate bar and you say, I'm going to eat half that chocolate bar. Hell, I might eat the whole goddamn thing. How often do you get a Hershey's bar and you eat just a little nibble off the top? And then you put the rest in the freezer for the next 6 months? Never, right? And so I gave Will this chocolate bar. And I said specifically, all right, just go and take a half of one, wait a half an hour, and then take the other.
But you said take a half of one, and I thought you meant half the bar.
No!
For the comedy, I'm going to let that go unchallenged.
You
but
gave me one bar and said take half of one. And so that's what I did.
Absolutely not. I dispute that version, but let's go with it. For whatever reason, Will decides to take a massive amount of.
So imagine one unit being a hardcore ride, and he's had 12 units of whatever that is. By the way, the point of this is baby Will's first steps into the world of weed. Like, this has never been done before. These are by
all
the way,
new
look, man, we can't even blame the metric system on this because at least you guys use imperial units. I would love to blame the metric system somehow.
And meanwhile, as Curtis the Rock, who was there, points out, there had already been a lot of drinking. I mean, Nerdtacular, especially for our Diamond Club crew, tends
high
to be
altitude, a harrowing adventure in a haunted mine shaft.
So we go and do a doubleheader of a jury show that Brian's on, and then we do Night Attack with a cavalcade of stars, including Mike TV and Paul and Storm. But Will, we know. Well, no. Here's what we do know. We know that Will is in Utah, and we know that Will was trashed before the show. And so we do not know whether or not Will's going to show up for Night Attack. Next thing you know, we're doing the show.
Okay. Oh my God. All right. Like, now knowing the full context, in a different country, a mile above sea level, after heavy exercise, lost in a haunted mine shaft, then eats 8x the recommended dose of a marijuana edible. Who takes the stage? Take it away, audio. This is one of the most eligible bachelors in all of England.
Come on in.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Yeah,
mate.
cheers, mate. Cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, cheers.
So why are you here?
Jesus, Will. I swear to God, it never happens. You want to watch a movie?
I lost a lot of weight and I sat. So what brings you out to Utah?
What brings you around here?
Stumble. Stumbles on the side step to hug Justin.
So what brings me out here
Yeah.
is I came personally to pledge my support to
to Action News.
Kickstarter. With this all
Oh,
funded
shoot.
within,
Actually, yeah.
within 3 hours. What
We didn't even talk about this.
running total. Anybody?
Nobody cares.
Nobody can
All right,
understand what the fuck you said.
Real quick, for those who weren't watching live and aren't here, Will, can you give us the clip notes of Justin's story to now? Describe the game, describe what's happened, describe what you're doing.
All right, here, hold on, pause it. Will, how much of this do you remember?
I mean, I feel like I have that memory where you see something and you pretend you remember it, but I don't actually remember it.
So what do you think happens next?
No, well, the one thing that I do remember is that I described Justin's game very badly, and then I'm convinced that I can't carry an entire bit by myself. So I rope in Mike, and we come up with the greatest song in the history of the internet.
All right,
So-
well,
Yeah, this is, I don't know, do you want to run through the whole appearance here, Bri? Or,
I mean,
do we want to
gotta get to the music bit because I do think he accurately gets that, but maybe we can, at some point he just decides Mike needs to come up and they need to improv a song. Don't know how we got to this place.
Do you know what?
No, I know exactly. I know exactly what happened. Here's what happened. I've become very aware that Will is fucking way too far gone for us to have any kind of like back and forth comedically. So I realized that there is a high risk reward situation that either Will needs to now improvise a song, because if the song is terrible, it's hilarious. If it's good, miraculously, it's the greatest thing on earth. And this is what we get.
1776? Okay.
No, you
So
got
what
to
we're
screen
gonna
it
do
forward a
is
little
the
bit
intent,
because
okay?
Justin pussy's out of improvising the song with me.
Oh, yes. Oh, no. Yeah, it's got to be all you.
Well, I was down in 1776, and I was frustrated with my podcast mix, 'cause I couldn't get the folks I want, except on the Maple Vault. Who the hell knows what that file system does? I really love you, cuz. I feel like we got pretty close on that one.
No. Go.
Keep going, you got this.
Keep going, you got it.
Take us back to 1776.
Go for it. Another topic. I heard 1776. Go.
We need a new topic.
Action
No,
news.
so someone
Action
shouts
news.
out nugs, and I don't even know what nugs are.
Wait, so you improv the song not knowing what you were singing about?
No, I thought nugs were
Were what, testicles?
All right, here
this
we
was-
go. This is back to the clip.
Guys, you guys think Will's doing a great job right now?
Cheap pop, Justin.
literally nobody thinks
That's,
Will is doing a good
that's
job.
like in the middle of that's in the middle of a 17-person gangbang. Somebody hops in front of the camera and says, "What do you say? She fucking them real good, boys."
Nugs, gotta get them nugs, gotta get them nugs, gotta get them nugs.
This is where I have to freestyle the entire thing.
So I went down to the local fast food place, decided that I was gonna stuff my face. Couldn't decide whether to wear sandals or Uggs. that had to choose between a cheeseburger or nugs.
Pause. Did you say couldn't decide whether to wear sandals or Uggs?
What else rhymes with nugs?
Because then I had to decide if it was a cheeseburger or nugs.
If you're going to a fast food place, you're like, how
Sure.
dressy am I going to be?
I mean, second of all, as somebody currently wearing sandals, I don't understand why would you wear Uggs ever?
So, yeah, that was the last time I was on Night Attack. And here we are again, guys. And there are no nugs. There are no edibles. Justin hasn't fucked me up completely.
We do have these Uggs.
Yeah. It is a testament to how much we love you, Will, and how much we love that moment that we spent the first 15 minutes of this show reliving that memory, one of our favorite.
It's a testament that I'm even allowed back here.
Well, you'll understand why it is a testament when you realize what we have held back on telling our beloved community and everybody listening to us live right now. Justin, we always say that Stephen Cogswell is a national treasure, an international treasure.
Stephen Cogswell, who, if you are not aware, is the person that makes the songs that begin each and every one of these shows. He has done it for many, well, I guess months, certainly, and certainly many years, every week. Unasked for, without credit, beyond us just shouting out the fact that he's amazing. That man makes a song based on the week that we just had. They are funny, masterful. Some of them are just beyond the pale musically for something that has a week to happen, and just our cackling nonsense, to use his vocals. This year we paid tribute, right, Brian?
Yeah. And keep in mind, we're going all the way back to what, 2016? He probably had at least one in 2015, 3 or 4 years. Hundreds of songs made out of sound snippets, none of which were intended to be songs. And I'm going to say these words, and my own body doesn't believe that I'm saying these words. We wanted to pay tribute to Stephen Cogswell by putting the best of our favorites of his stuff and a few snippets of us trying to be funny into an album called All's Well, a Night Attack album. It hit #1, the single #1 best-selling digital album on all of Amazon. It hit #3 on all of iTunes. And as of today, I got a phone call from a member of, I don't know what they're called, the Academy of Recording Arts, I think they are. But motherfucker, it is in consideration for a motherfucking Grammy. Motherfucking Grammy.
Grammy, baby!
Grammy!
We're only gonna be an eon away.
So here's the thing. This is a very quick turnaround, and I don't know much about this. And in fact, I encourage everybody to find out how the Grammy nomination process works. Officially, to be a Grammy nominee, you have to be one of 5 or 6 individual albums that makes the cut. But right now, it is up for consideration. So for your consideration is All's Well, a Night Attack album. There's a little over 100 comedy albums out there. It's in the category of comedy album. Here's what we know. We know that if we had a lot of money, we would hire somebody as a PR firm to get the word out on all of this stuff. We don't have a lot of money, and we're not very connected. But we do know that what they would do is they would reach out to all the members of the Academy and say, hey, here's the story of this album. Will you please consider putting it out there? And I gotta tell you, our story is a beautiful one. It is the story of a boutique niche comedy podcast, independent from big media, with a fan who is supremely talented, who does the stoic thing of showing up week after week after week, and is rewarded with an album of his greatest hits that hits #1 on Amazon. And to me, it doesn't matter if it's not your flavor of comedy. It doesn't matter if you don't get the inside references. It doesn't matter if maybe you don't get the jokes. If you're a member of the Academy, it seems to me that you should celebrate this in a world where half of these goddamn albums are going to be stand-up comedies that are nothing but railing about the red team or the blue team in politics. To have a comedy album that is nothing but joy, totally devoid of politics, nothing but this is nonsense and fun and funny and truly independent, is one of the most special things on the planet. So here's the part that we turn it over to our community. You guys out there are all brilliant self-organizers. You have done the impossible time and time again. We watched it. The next thing, as far as I can understand, is to get word to whoever is part of the Academy and say, hey man, don't you think this deserves a nomination? We're not asking for an award. We're asking for a nomination. The idea... Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, no, this is just all we want. So here's the deal. Right now we are on what is called the short list. That means that we have pre-qualified from everything, every joke that has happened. We have made the short list, and it is about 100 albums, which means that we just need to be in contact with enough people who are part of this Academy, more than 95 of them. Like, we just need to have more people that on that official ballot, they mark us down. We're going to be on that official ballot. They just need to mark us down, and that's it. If we get enough of those, right, like technically we are shortlisted for a Grammy right now, and that's pretty cool. But guys, can you imagine if we are walking the red carpet at the actual Grammys?
Can I tell you a real story? I have a 15-year-old daughter. She's not impressed by much. She was impressed by this. And then she was the one, 15 minutes into our ride back home, she was like, oh, so I guess you'll get to go to the Grammys. To which I responded, yeah, I guess I'll have to go to the Grammys.
If only, Brian, if only you had some sort of intrepid horde of rabid fans who could help push you over the top in this endeavor.
Would you take your youngest daughter who wrote one of the songs?
Oh, well, I mean, yes, of
Or
course.
would you take your wife who supported you through this entire endeavor?
Oh, Sophie's choice. I can't decide.
However you might want to sell this, here's our direct plea. If you are either in a community that has people that would be a part of this organization, the Grammy organization, or if you know somebody for whom definitely has a vote for the Grammys, now is the time. We are enlisting you as our personal lobbyists to sell the idea that, number one, like as Brian said, this is a beautiful, joyful expression of what it means to be a truly talented human and to make art for the sake of art with no reward expected. Now we can have the ultimate reward bestowed. You can sell the idea that a 5-year-old wrote one of these songs. You can sell the idea that it's also an objectively funny listen. Whatever you want to do, this is the mission, and we have a real short porch on this, right, Bri?
Yeah, dude, I believe we have 9 days. I believe voting happens on the 10th of October. It is the 1st of October as we record this. I do want to give a thank you to our friend who tipped us off to this whole extravaganza. He's got an album called Baked Not Fried. His name is Vi Wickham. Please check out his album, and as long as we're making noise and making suggestions on all forms of social media, please put the word out on his stuff as well. He's currently in the category of Best Americana Album, but my goodness, look, we're up against 100 folks, but if you line up 100 folks, I'd put Chat Realm against any of them.
But you know,
I mean,
if you were going to walk the red carpet at the Grammys and you had to choose one person to take with you,
yeah,
you know who you wouldn't take?
Nugs.
That cunt Cogswell.
Wow. All right. That's your word.
Hey,
we can't say that word.
Can I tell you my story this week about the album?
Oh yeah. What?
Yeah. So I wrote one of my heroes because I realized most of my heroes have been dead for centuries because I'm an artist and they're all dead. But then there was this book I read that I was like...
Sorry, Bonnie. We're sat right
Funny
here.
stuff.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We're sat right here.
I know. Outside of you guys. Anyways, thank you for being my heroes. But...
And then she shoots lightning out of her fingers and we die.
But anyways, there's this one book that I really enjoyed, and I went back and re-looked through it. I was like, wow, this guy influenced my next 20 years of art making. And then I read his newest book, and I was just like, wow, this is really great too. And I go, oh shit, he's probably old and about to die, so I should probably write him, right? And then so I said, oh, hey, I like your work, and thank you so much. And it's kind of esoteric art stuff, so I wasn't expecting... I didn't know. I mean, does he get fan mail often?
You're talking about the power of the unironic fan mail.
Right. I think it's
just
important
with
to
no
tell
expectation
people.
of anything in return. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And then apparently he's anyway, so he checked out my work, and then he writes back to me. He says, oh, so the most expensive guacamole is on the All's Well album, huh? I was just like, oh, you don't have to look at that.
Guacamole.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but then he writes back a couple days later. He goes, those guys, they're a hoot.
A hoot. We're a hoot. Hopefully he's part of the Academy.
Yeah. All right. So there are rules, though, right, Bri? You were saying that there.
Let me dig up the rules and we'll sort of walk through them because as we know, we are made of pure raw enthusiasm, not exactly known for our nuance. So let's make sure that we follow this to the T.
So the one thing that I do remember you talking to me about earlier today is that there's no disparaging of other specific titles that would be on the short list. And for your general reference, let's just assume everybody that had a comedy special over the last year is on the short list. On Amazon, on Netflix, on Comedy Central. Everybody gets that same special released as an album. So no disparaging of any kind of stand-up comedy would probably be helpful.
Yeah,
because I'll let you know this. This is not... It's hard for independent stuff to break through on the Grammys. Like the Grammys, by and large, is a celebration of these record labels. We are not on a record label, as you might have known. So we got to mind our P's and Q's. Let's stay within the rules. Let's not do anything that could have us over the top and then we get disqualified. So no disparaging things about any other comedy album.
Yeah, so the voter code of conduct is voters shall not allow their choices to be suggested, directed, or influenced by anything other than their own analysis of the art. Voters shall not accept money or anything of value, so don't send them gifts. Voters shall not enter into any agreements or understandings on how to vote. That makes sense. No vote trading, no voting blocks. Let's see, hosting for your consideration events, independent events may be hosted if they adhere to the guidelines. We're not going to do an actual event.
You can't gift stuff.
Yeah, gifting show tickets if we were super famous. Oh my God, that's great. Night Attack as well. Luckily, our show tickets are of no value. For your consideration, communications and advertisements, you can include the following: artwork related to the product under consideration. Keep in mind, I think there's 4,000 or 5,000 members of the Academy. I don't know who they are. I don't know how to reach them. If we had money, we would pay a PR person to do it. Here's the moment that we say, we trust you to self-organize and figure everything out. But remember that these are the rules. It can be brief, unembellished descriptions of the recording or the creators. I would say that you can briefly talk about why you like our silly podcast. You could talk about why this is a special album and why it celebrates the independent creator and true fandom of one Stephen Cogswell, and how all of us want to celebrate talent where we see it, who can bring comedy forward. No copies, or it can include copies or links to the product, so feel free to make those available. It can include links to websites that promote eligible recordings. It can include link to the Recording Academy website where voting can happen. I think you're not supposed to say what you could say the category, but not the number. You could list the creators who did it, reference to nominations. You can reference the Grammys. You cannot cast a negative light on anything else. That's fine. We're all positive here. We're good people. You cannot exaggerate or overstate the merits of the music, an achievement, or the individual.
Do you think you could exaggerate or overstate the importance of what you've done?
Okay, look. An accurate thing would be to say Brian Brushwood has been on The Tonight Show 2 times, if you count the rerun 3 times. It would be an overstatement to say 4 times. It would be accurate to say we've had 2 #1 Billboard charted comedy albums. It would be an overstatement to say they were robbed of a 3rd because of some kind of technicality. It is an accurate thing to say that All's Well was the #1 best-selling digital album in the entire Amazon.com music store. It would be an overstatement to say we hit #2 on iTunes because we only had #3. Also, it would be an accurate thing to say we faked a #3 best-selling erotic fiction story. It would be an overstatement to say #2.
You didn't fake the erotic fiction story. That was real.
Oh, well,
it just happened to be a fake story that really
was actually erotic. That's a good point.
I'm just gonna say I didn't have to clean my sheets of fake cum jerking off to.
Dude, those tweets saying when's the sequel coming out, they ain't fake, I'll tell you that much. Oh yeah, it says don't say the entry list number or category numbers. In other words, don't make it super easy. Did you just spit all over? That's fine.
Don't say the C word.
Yeah, no, it does not. Don't include personal signatures because that would be like if you're Beyonce and you sign stuff, then you're going to influence that, Don't go ahead.
I'm just gonna say, unless there's anything else big there, do you want to run through the rest of it or?
No, it looks pretty standard. Look, this is one of those moments where it's like our greatest strength as a community is that we are a community that self-organizes and that makes things happen and tells stories well. This is a very good story. This is the story of an independent podcast that had a few popular comedy albums that did pretty well, but most importantly, this is the story of our favorite album, an album that celebrates supreme musical talent and a person who somehow took a bunch of words that were never intended to be musical and turned them into magic. And I gotta believe that out of the 5,000 members of the community of the Academy, that a decent 20% of those will say, you know what? I saw the movie Rudy. Yeah, you should at least get nominated to see if your album stands up against whoever else is out there. And we can't say it because for all kinds of reasons, not the least of which is that it would skew things for us, the talent, to do it. This is a referendum on our fandom, and nobody is mightier than Chat Realm. So right now, if you're a person who has the means to put out the word on social media, to put out the word and find out what the best practices are, how do previous Grammy winners make it, you guys take the lead on this, because I'll tell you this much, maybe I don't deserve it, maybe Justin doesn't deserve it, but Stephen fucking Cogswell deserves this.
Hell yeah, look, it's his work, and to be totally honest, it's
and Mike TV. Mike TV has a whole track on there. Fucking if you love Mike TV, let's make this happen.
It was a joy of my life to text my brother who edited the album and say that we are shortlisted for a Grammy. Like, we did it, and everybody in that room. Sorry, Will. everybody was involved in the album, and it just means the world that we could get that kind of recognition. Let's see what we can do, guys. Thank you so much. And again, because it bears saying then, now, forever, praise be to Cogswell. This is all because Stephen Cogswell is such an amazing and talented human being. So it is with that we will remind you that patreon.com/nightattack is where you can support this show. Head on over there right now and give us money if you want. But to be totally honest, right now, the big push is all about, let's see if we can get this actually Grammy nominated. But Brian, we still do pay attention to the folks that do support us over there on the Patreon, and every single week we read your name if you have subscribed or up to your pledge in a little segment that we like to call the...
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Night Attack new Patreon name chant corner hour. It's an hour of...
Oh my God, there's this one super fan, and he made a fucking album, and he wrote songs every fucking week, and his name is Stephen Cogswell. Hey. In all seriousness, this is one of those things where it's like anything Justin and I do is a sledgehammer. You guys are the fine point needles that can make real precise liposuction happen. Remove the fat from the Grammys and cool sculpt them to precision. We trust you, but you must self-organize and you must act. All you need to is just get them votes, because Stephen Cogswell.
Get them votes.
Get them votes. What? We don't do anything else in this middle part, right?
Yeah, we do the 1 minute story.
Oh yeah, the 1 minute story. Hey, Brian.
Yeah. This part where we go full on Twitch streamer mode, and we tell
Absolutely.
a totally unrelated story with a bunch of weird words that definitely aren't us shouting out all of the contributors at twitch.tv/nightattack.
Indeed. Which is why I want to let you know that, I went over to B. Coford's. They're that place that they got the milkshakes and stuff like that. You ever been there?
Oh, yeah. No, I always thought it was like a McCufford.
Well, anyway, Dan33 is over there, and I usually see him after work. And I sidle on up to him, and I say, man, I'm tired of all these mechaholics ruining it for the rest of us.
Well, yeah, and it was weird because I overheard you, and I was in the middle of drinking some mechahol, and I was just like, hey, man, that's our word. What are you doing?
And he was like, I'm just having a massive poop tempest right
and
now.
I pointed, and I was like, Sooth.
Well, all right. Not knowing your hip lingo, I had to go into Urban Dictionary to find out what you meant. But once I got your fighting words, there was only one thing on my mind and one thing only. I stared you right in your eyeballs and said, Nick, homework. That's what I used to do when I was a kid. I would go and watch Nick, and then I would do my homework. And I feel like if you did the same thing, then we're friends.
And I was like, yeah, boom, crash, lol, what?
All right. Man, we're running late. Bryce, do we got a game?
We do. It's a... excuse me. There we go. It's a kind of recent game, but we're bringing it back. It is News 6. News 6. The news that's 6. So this is a game where I've pulled some news topics. We're going to play a little quiz game based on the news of the day. And everybody, here are our topics, which is not made in MS Paint. Do not ask me about it. The topics are Now and Then, Ins and Outs, Meat and Potatoes, Web and Wild, Run and Fun, and on and on. So we'll go in round with you guys picking topics. picking one of these 6 topics, and we'll tell you a little bit about the news and a little bit about a quiz.
I volunteer as tribute.
Okay, Brian.
Back to before we start, I do want to recognize B. Coford. He is our bit boss right now with 1,000
bit boss.
The only fan that ever mattered. All right,
I'm going to go with On and On.
I'm going to go with On and On. All right, this is from The Verge. The FAA has granted their first Part 135 standard certification to a company this week, allowing them to operate a drone airline. Their certificate allows the company to fly as many drones as it wants, let its drones fly beyond a pilot's visual line of sight, carry cargo that weighs more than 55 pounds, and fly at night. The company will begin a drone delivery network at hospital campuses in the U.S. before expanding. Question: which company was granted this first-of-a-kind certificate? You guys will guess in round, going Brian, Justin, and then Will, and starting, and then whoever gets it right will get a point.
So we're picking the company, right?
That's right.
Oh man, I know this. It's a plasma company called Hematastic. Just
Not
that
quite.
fast, huh?
That's
All
right. Justin, got a guess?
You were close, Brian. It is one of those kind of medical delivery companies, but it's called Rain of Blood.
Rain of Blood is
And you'll always be a loser.
incorrect. Will, what do you think?
Nugs.
Can I just say Amazon?
Amazon? Oh, shit. They are a company, aren't they?
All right, your answer, Amazon, is incorrect. Brian, take a guess.
Bonnie.
Oh, yeah, Bunny. Just make sure you don't look back here because I have the answer.
I won't.
Okay.
Zapatos?
Zapatos. You mean Zappos.
Yeah,
But I
Zappos.
like Zapatos.
I mean Zapatos.
You mean Zapatos, the Mexican Zappos.
Your answer is incorrect. Brian, back to you.
By the way, how come Zappos has never run an ad where somebody puts on shoes and dies and he says, he shoed poorly? Never mind.
Probably because they give those shoes to needy people.
Okay, all right.
Because that would be racist.
What? To shoe somebody poorly? All right. Wait, we have to keep on going till we get it?
Someone's going to get it. This is actually easy.
UPS.
You're there, you bet. That's right, it was UPS.
Who was it? Oh,
It's
really?
UPS specifically, their UPS Flight Forward subsidiary. Other companies like Amazon Air and Uber Eats are working on drone technology too, and Alphabet's Wing got a single pilot certificate in April, but this is the first drone airline.
Wow.
Here we go. All right, let's
Could have
talk
sworn it was Rain of Blood.
All right, let's do Justin. Why don't you pick a topic for me? We've got Now and Then, Ins and Outs, Meat and Potatoes, Web and Wild, Run and Fun.
Well, Bryce, I'm a real, man who cares about keeping our culture the way that it was, and that's why I'm gonna go with meat and potatoes.
Go with meat and potatoes. All right, it's time.
The only food I consider. People bring me a salad, I throw it on the ground and say that's gross. It belongs on the ground.
Yeah. All right, it's time for the news at 6. This is from Vox. A group of 14 researchers just set off a firestorm with a new series of studies that upends years of nutritional advice on meat. The 5 systematic reviews published on Monday in the journal Annals of Internal Medicine suggest that there's no health reason to eat less red meat. Not even bacon and salami, which we've been told for years to cut back on.
All right, hands in the air if you heard a single word after anals.
The Annals of Publication. It was an anal publication. That's what I
Some
heard.
Grammy award-winning comedy here.
Sorry, can we get?
Can you go back? Can you go back to everything after anal?
Wait, so what was the question again?
So I haven't even gotten to it yet. Still fucking reading the question. These 5 studies published in a journal suggests that there is no health reason to eat less red meat, including bacon and salami, which for years we've been told to cut back on. This has caused intense debate in the scientific community, partially over the study's use of the grade approach, which emphasizes the only higher quality evidence and weighs the credibility and strength of the evidence. While the studies were far from definitive recommendations, one study author, Gordon Guillotte, said, when you trade that off with uncertain, and if it at all exists at all, the small benefit from reducing meat, our inference is that most people would choose to continue eating meat.
Man, oh man, there's so many tensions about this subject. If people could just relax and just maybe push back against their impulse.
It's a tense debate, Brian. It's a tense debate.
Bryce, can we get the fucking question? I'm sympathetic to you. You said one thing weird, and now everybody's jumping on you, but you're not helping it with this 10,000
The
words.
studies also did not weigh in moral, ethical, or environmental reasons not to eat meat. The question, per a report from the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations in 2013, how many gigatons of carbon dioxide are produced per year from the global livestock practice? This includes feed production, land use change, and fossil fuel use.
So the question is, how many gigatons in the practice as described in the annals?
As described by the UN. Justin, we're going to start with you. How many? Everyone's going to give a guess. The closest is going to get it.
Oh, I'm going to say 10 gigatons.
Just going to say 10 gigatons. All right. Will, how many gigatons do you think?
50,000 gigatons.
50,000 gigatons. All right. Bonnie, how many do you think?
I'm just saying those anals are thick. So
Please give me a number. Please give me a number.
All right.
Oh, Bonnie, why do you have to bring it down?
Oh,
Always.
you're
Come
right.
on.
C-word, that's what you are.
Cunt.
Please give me a number. It's been a long time working on this game today, and I knew the word
I'm going to
anals
go
would-
with 100, Bryce. I
Thank
say
you.
100 gigatons.
100 gigatons. All right. Well, Bonnie, last chance to give me a number, please.
Okay, I'm going to say 101. I'm going to do Brian's favorite
To take
move.
the over on 100, but the under on 50,000. All right. Will, your answer of 50,000 gigatons is
Fired. Get out of here.
incorrect. Bonnie, your answer of 101 is
And you'll always
Incorrect.
be a loser.
Brian, your answer of 100 is also
Oh, my God.
incorrect. We were looking for 7.1 gigatons. And
Wow,
with his
that's
answer of
actually
10.
shockingly close. Also, shockingly close. The people in the chat room who noticed, like, oh, I get it. Bonnie's not in the room with the kids. Guess where her mouth goes as well this week?
I wonder what part of the lead up to that question made Bryce want to slap everybody with a loser sound effect on the way out.
All right, let's get another one going. Well, you're gonna pick the topic next. We've got Now and Then, Ins and Outs, Web and Wild, and Run and Fun.
Do you know, Bryce? Do you know what I like even more than
Nugs.
out?
Half of a chocolate bar with marijuana.
What do you like more than Out?
I like
Being
ins.
trapped in a mine shaft haunted by Scooby-Doo.
Brian, shut up.
Ins. All right.
I like ins and outs. Give me
and
ins and outs, Bryce.
All right, Ins and Outs. You're on 6. This is from Fox 59. 16 students at the Mackenzie Center for Innovation and Technology in Indianapolis were hospitalized when a tuberculosis skin test, went wrong. When the initial cause for the TB test is still unknown, things took a turn for the worse when the students had instead been injected with insulin. Question. Insulin was discovered and developed between 1869 and 1960 by a variety of scientists. Later, E. coli was used by Arthur Riggs and Keiichi Itakura to develop synthetic insulin. What year was the first synthetic, quote-unquote, human insulin created? Everyone's going to guess a year, and the closest gets a point. Will, we're going to start with you. What year was synthetic insulin created?
Kill me now. 1929.
1929. Okay, so, all right, there you go, 1929. Bonnie, what do you think? Insulin.
1982.
1982. All right, Brian?
1967.
1967. All right, and Justin?
1969.
Nice.
69. All right. Oh, I got to do some math on this one. Okay.
Wait, Bryce, you need to use the science computer?
I need to use the computer. Hold on.
Yeah, sorry, I can't. Maybe it's not running at full capacity.
Yeah. Click.
You might need that one up there.
All right. Science figured it out, everybody. With her answer of 1982, Bonnie is the closest. We were looking for 1978.
Wow!
By only 4 years.
Bonnie.
I was thinking, wait, didn't commercials come out like super heavy about that time? So
it was first sold in 1982. So actually, you actually got the year it was sold correctly.
Oh my gosh! Oh wow!
There we go. So that's a
The year of our Lord that I was born. It must be a sign.
Babe in the
Wow,
woods.
you're so young.
Bonnie, we got 3 topics left here. We've got Now and Then, Web and Wild, and Run and Fun.
Run and
You
fun.
go with the Run and Fun. All right, here we go. The news. The news. That's it. All right, this is from WCCO. It took 9-year-old Cade Lovell longer than expected to finish his 5K race in Minnesota, but only because he was accidentally winning a separate 10K race. The young cross-country runner was directed off the 5K route and onto the 10K route and ended up taking first place with a time of 48 minutes. Question. On July 15, 1912, the first Olympiad to feature a cross-country running event had 45 participating runners receiving a scored time. In other words, they did not get a did not finish. Everyone's going to guess how many people actually, of the 45, how many did not get a did not finish? How many finished the first cross-country Olympiad?
Wow. And this is what year?
This is 1912.
Did you guys ever see that made-for-TV movie about the first Olympics? They had like I don't know, 5 just so stories. There was a dude, like they went to the library to find out how to do the discus, and so they were like, well, in this Greek poem, it describes like trash can lids. So they started throwing trash can lids, and then they go to the fucking Olympics, and then they've got this giant 17-pound thing, and they're like, oh man, I guess I'm disqualified. They won't let me use my discus. And then they're like, you have to use this, and they hand them like the 3-pound common normal discus. And then meanwhile, there's like a couple of like Russian brothers that don't speak good English, but they're like on a boat and they're good runners. And then it's like, oh, if only we could launch like revolver, click clack. And then they figure out the the start where you get on all fours and then launch forward.
No, but that sounds like an awesome movie, Brian.
Okay, somebody out there knows exactly what I'm talking about, and they're having the same memories of AP history.
My favorite part about that movie is there's that one part where they're running in the marathon, and the one guy looks at the other dude and is like, hey, you think Hitler's been born?
No, they're not quite sure. So, Bonnie, we're going to start with you. So, one more time. 45 people ran in that first cross-country event. How many actually finished out of 45?
For 10K?
A cross-country running event.
Cross country.
Yeah, let me double check. But
Yeah, what is cross? You ran
Maybe they meant it
cross-country.
literally, like you had to run across the country.
Huh?
It would depend. I mean, if it's the Vatican, man, that's a sprint.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
mean that's a
say-
stroll.
32.
Of 45.
32 out of 45. All right, Brian, we're going to go next to you.
I'm going to say 45 of 45.
You're going to say all 45? All right.
I mean, yes.
Justin?
I would assume if they traveled to another country to compete in the World Games, in the event of crossing a country, they would probably cross a country.
Okay. Justin?
I'm going to say that 12. 12 people finished it. You don't know that they all traveled, man. You're thinking about that modern sensibility, Brian. You don't know that they didn't just run to the local village and say, hey, who likes running? Meanwhile,
in the chat room, Beat Viper says, it's got to be a very few number. Back then, people were lazy. And it's like, that's one thing nobody said about anybody in the past, is that they used to be lazy.
No, but they all definitely had a million other jobs, right? Like that's like there was no such thing as just like professional athlete.
They were too busy. I'll tell you what, not only did they finish, they probably sold newspapers along the way and sent Morse code messages.
Here's my thing, is anything that is run for the first time is poorly organized. So I bet they don't have good markers. And I bet you half of them just like didn't go the right way.
Oh no, that's a good point.
Which is why my answer.
They probably double counted people. I bet more people finished than actually even ran.
Ooh.
Interesting.
So I either go massively over or massively under. I'm going to go 3.
Will's going to go with 3. All right. The answer that we were looking for, and the person who is closest to that is going to be Bonnie Brushwood. Because we were looking for 28.
Wait, where did everybody go? Did they go to the wrong country?
No, they just... I don't know. I actually don't know.
They got lost because cross country is like a long race, and I bet you anything they just got confused.
You know what? This is why the official policy was never draw a cross country route that involves a pub somewhere along the way.
Yeah, but you know the other problem? None of them use the fucking metric system.
I don't know if we've talked about this on the show, but I heard, and I would love to believe this is true, that the very first doping scandal was in the biathlon. That's the one where you cross country ski and then you shoot at targets,
like
right?
Meg in Family Guy.
And it was, I believe, a Swedish dude who had a couple of beers to calm his nerves before he started it. So a couple of beers was the original doping scandal.
Imagine doing that on an entire bar.
Man, I'm hitting comedy targets left and right. Goddamn right. Disqualify this, except not for them Grammys.
That's right. So that's Bonnie's second point. Congratulations, Bonnie. Also in a little bit of a follow-up, Hannes Kolemainen from Finland took the gold in that year. And in 2019, Cade plans on competing in the Junior Olympics this year. So that's that.
Oh, right. Look at that.
We got 2 more here, and we're going to go into double points round. Points on News 6. Brian, we'll go back to you here. We still have a few topics left, like Now and Then and Web and Wild.
And what?
Web and Wild.
Which one's sexualer? Like Now and Then, pretty sexy, but Web and Wild, sexier. All right, let's go Web and Wild.
Gonna go with Web and Wild?
Gonna go Web and Wild.
Here on News 6.
I'm Web and Wild. Yo, what's up? It's me, Web and Wild. I'm swinging from the ceilings, from my sieges.
From Variety, after briefly breaking up, Sony Pictures and Marvel have found a way to get back in the Spider-Man business together. On Friday, the two companies jointly announced that Marvel Studios and its president, Kevin Feige, will produce the 3rd film in the Spider-Man Homecoming series. It will once again feature Tom Holland reprising his role as the titular hero. The new deal sees Disney contributing 25% of the production costs for 25% of the profits, say insiders. Question. While Sony got the rights to Spider-Man and the 900-character large franchise in 1998, Spider-Man has actually been in live action for a long time. When did the made-for-TV film/pilot Spider-Man air on CBS?
All right, so the question is, the 3rd input of Spider-Man... oh, damn it, I had like 3 sex things. I got nothing. All right, go ahead. Who goes first?
You go first. What year did CBS's made-for-TV film/pilot Spider-Man air on CBS?
I know that I watched some Spider-Man thing where Spider-Man had to fight a clone of himself when I was about 3 years old. So that would have been 1977, 78. If it was on TV, on CBS. So I'm going to say it aired 1977.
1977. All right, Justin.
1978.
1978. All right, Will.
Spider-Man wins a Grammy for his fans.
I mean, look, I'm fine if that's it. Look, he's all of our heroes.
I'm going to go 1969.
Bonnie.
Man, I was going to pick that one. So I'm going to say, I feel like it's earlier too. I'm going to say 1970.
Let's say 1970. Oh, okay.
Oh, man, I got this one.
One of you is exactly right. And that person is Brian Brashwood.
Oh, shoot! I thought Justin had it. Oh, that's great.
That's right. It got a 17.8 rating with a 30 share. The highest CBS production of that year. The film was released to theaters internationally. Congratulations, Brian. That's 2 points. That puts you in our lead. Currently, it's 3 points to Brian, 1 point to Justin, 0 points for Will, and 2 points for Bonnie. But don't worry, we're going into our final 4-point round.
Oh, it's anybody's game.
Here on
Britto bringing it back.
All right, and because it's our final round, we only have one left to go. So, Justin, we're gonna give you the first crack at Now and Then. Here on News 6, the news. That's it.
Bringing this one home, baby.
This is from Polygon. Today, Sony announced that they are halving the price of their Game Pass style service, PlayStation Now, to $10 a month and adding popular titles like Grand Theft Auto 5, God of War, and Uncharted 4 to the service. But games as a service is nothing new. Launched back in 2005, Turner's GameTap led the way in offering a buffet-style service for around 1,000 games, as well as original episodic content like Telltale's games Sam & Max series. And we've got a question. One of GameTap's original episodic games was American McGee's Grimm, a weekly game with about 30 minutes of gameplay. How many episodes of American McGee's Grimm was made? Each player is going to guess. Closest gets a point. And Justin, we're going to start with you.
Oh, God. American McGee's Grimm.
That's right.
Oh, that classic title.
Didn't American McGee do Doom at some point, or Quake?
He worked with id and later made Alice, American McGee's Alice.
Right.
That my brother, that was actually his first job as an animator. So I unfairly...
Is American McGee the Michael Bay of video games?
No, Michael Bay is the American McGee of movies.
He was part of id's second generation, so he worked on Ultimate Doom, Doom 2, Quake, and Quake 2. He was then fired from id.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that the Grimm was 5.
5 episodes?
5 episodes.
All right. Will?
Wait, were they... Are you saying they were monthly released?
They were weekly.
Weekly?
A weekly game.
So if you tot up the cost of a development studio over the cost of... You got to make American McGee's Grimm. You got to make an animation engine. You got to make a PR company.
It's adorable that you're acting like this was profitable.
You've got to bring in the outside talent.
You got to do
the voice,
any of the actual substantial
voice
costs
acting. You got to do. It's not going to be worth it. Bringing in what's the scale rate for a voice actor? You're going to get your voice actors in.
Reminder that we're not asking for the cost. We're asking how many episodes there were.
Yeah, all of which is important. So I'm going to say 16.
That is an answer only a founder could give.
Yeah.
That's
amazing.
Well, Bonnie, I mean, what would you say?
I would say that none of those numbers actually matter because everybody was just like so
high.
Yeah, and they're
Wait,
like,
Turner money.
Could you repeat the question?
They're eating so many chocolates.
Sure. One of GameTap's original episodic games was American McGee's Grimm, a weekly game with about 30 minutes of gameplay. How many episodes of American McGee's Grimm were made?
I would say they're all doing it just to be doing it, and it was a new thing, and that they were just like, yeah. So I'm going to say like 36.
Bonnie says 36.
For a 30-minute game, Bonnie believes there were 36 episodes.
Oh, I missed that
Would you? I mean,
part.
look.
Okay, I take it back.
Okay, but you got to give me your modified answer right now.
Oh, okay. I say there were 10.
Say 10. Okay. Brian?
Donut, baby. Trick
What?
question 0.
Brian, your answer 0 is...
And you'll always be
not
a loser.
quite correct. Justin, your answer with 5 is not correct. Bonnie, your answer with 10 is
Fired. Get out of here.
not correct. And Will, your answer of 16 is close enough. That's right. They made, get ready for this, 23 episodes of American Mickey's Grim.
For a 30-minute game?
That's right.
Oh.
And with 4 points, 1, 2, 3, 4, that means our winner today is Wil Harris.
Oh! Drinking vodka straight from the bottle, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, everybody. If you have an idea for a game you'd like us to play here on this section of the show, send it in mail at nightattack.tv.
Definitely spitting out vodka from the bottle in his mouth into his cranberry. Also drinking the cranberry vodka that he just made as if he's Frank from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's better when you make it in your mouth.
Make it in your mouth. And if you have an email you'd like us to read at the end of the show, which is what's coming up, send it to mail, mail, at nightattack.tv. Thank you, guys.
Holy crap. Hey, Brian, you want to do a little diamond time?
Goddamn right, man.
Diamond time is where you can have Diamond time is where you can have your project shouted out right here on the show. Top 3 get read at the sticky post at the top of our subreddit, reddit.com/r/Diamond Club or diamondclub.reddit.com. We begin with another J. Martin. It's Musical Chemist's birthday. Throw some greetings and diamonds at PH DeVito in the tweeters.
Congrats, Musical Chemist.
Hells yeah. W. Scottis1 writes us saying, hello, Diamond Club. You may know that the Diamond Club movie draft happened last Monday, but did you know that there is a second movie draft that happens as well? That's right. It's called the Diamond Club. It's always weird because he just gives the symbol and I have to figure Diamond Club Stream Team Movie Draft, where all your favorite Diamond Club streamers get to bid on their own draft. This year we have 2 divisions of 6 teams battling it out. This past Saturday we have the Red Division draft, and this Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern it's the Blue Division's turn. You can watch it all play out at twitch.tv/streamteamdraft. More details over at YOLO420.com/2019 draft details.
Justin, how did your draft go, Justin? Did you enjoy your draft?
Yeah, no, I'm gonna do great. It's great. It's great. It's great. Everything's great. It's great.
You really picked some great movies and you participated and you really got into it.
Hey, you want to know what I did? I didn't pick any great friends like fucking Will. That's what I didn't do. You know, pointing out my failures. All right, cool. Yeah, I missed the draft. That's fine. Movie League Mike is going to do really great, and if he wins, I'm going to take credit for the record.
Signed. Brian's Black Child writes in an increasingly playfully aggressive tone. Yo, if you haven't already heard my podcast, Virtual Log, seriously, what are you doing with your life? I interview the people who work behind the scenes of big name MMOs and virtual worlds. I tell the story of the craziest and most interesting events in online history. For fuck's sake, my entire soundtrack is by Breakmaster Cylinder. What more do you want from me? Industry endorsements? I fucking have those too. After Night Attack, please listen, rate, review everywhere podcasts are found. If you have the coin, sponsor me as well so I could keep doing this shit. Virtuallog.com. Virtuallog.sign.com. That's SCYNE.com. Thanks.
Indeed, Diamond Time is where you can shout out your project. Just head on over to reddit.com/r/Diamond Club. Again, top 3 get read. Each and every week.
I guess we don't have a movie draft minute because nothing started, right?
That's right. But you have one more week. You have until Friday, as my understanding, to the end of Friday to join the Chat Room League draft.diamondclub.tv/form. This is our first time ever. I think you've had 2 weeks to enter the draft. So if you want to play along, that's where you got to go.
I will say it is a lot more fun when you have a pony in the race. I mean, definitely go to draft.diamondclub.tv/form. Almost certainly we paid wrong prices for things, and you can end up being the big winner because we're all big losers.
Hey, do we have some emails, Bryce?
Oh, yes, yes, indeed we do. Here is some email music.
Join us for drinks in the Diamond Club.
In the Diamond Club. That sounds grand.
It's super grand. This is the part of the show where we read your emails to mail, MAIL, at nightattack.tv, including this email from Hot Beverages. Hot Beverages writes, hey, Night Attack, hope all is well. What is the crew's thoughts on Untitled Goose Game? This is the game that is kind of taking social media by storm right now. Personally, I find it so wholesome and fun that I can just ignore all the anxiety-inducing world events and just harass kids into phone booths to my heart's content. Love you all. Hope Will is having fun tonight. M. Have you guys seen all the goose memes?
We talked about it yesterday. I've not seen it.
I've played it a lot.
Yeah?
I half love it and half hate it.
Why would you hate it?
Because it introduces an anxiety into me. There's like you're the goose and you're a bit of a dick and you're going and you're getting all this stuff from people, but you've got to, swipe it out from under people and run it back to your home place, and you've got to perform all these tasks.
So your anxiety comes from the fact that it's like, hey man, he's just trying to run his bodega. Why am I interrupting him?
Yeah, no. My anxiety comes from I'm the goose. And I run a startup, and I'm constantly trying to steal things from other people.
Oh, it's too close to home.
It's too close to home.
It's like it might as well be
your coffee pot and your little bag of your little cooler of stuff is my $100,000 that I need for the next week of my startup.
So you start out playing.
So I identify with the goose, and I'm like, fuck that goose! Better get that shit. Otherwise, what's gonna happen to that goose's family? What's gonna happen to all that goose's employees? That goose has got mouths to feed, man.
Oh, so you're all into the whole idea of honking at children, and then suddenly an assistant walks up and says, this is last year's quarterly reports. Listen, this particular investor, he's more motivated by high risk, high reward.
I need a picnic blanket, otherwise nobody's going to get fed next month.
Right on.
Justin, have you seen this? I know you've texted me some goose memes, but I don't know if you've played it yet.
Oh, I have. Yeah, no, it was downloaded immediately in my household, and it is a delight. I don't know. It's such a great concept, and also just who doesn't want to harass small British children? Sorry, Will.
We did play it on the stream here a week or so ago. I think it's still on the Twitch VODs, but yeah, it's a fun game. It's 3 hours if you do the main story, and then there's a bunch of extra stuff you can do at the end.
It's a great game, and as far as the Switch indies go, you should absolutely play it. It's number one in the Switch charts right now, and it's totally worth buying.
Yeah,
Pigeon Simulator ever come out?
Pigeon Simulator?
Yeah, so if you see the video for it, Pigeon Simulator is pretty good. It's at first your whole job is just to annoy people and shit on businessmen and whatever, and then eventually you figure out a way to make things explode and cause maximum mayhem just as a pigeon the whole time.
That sounds like the Monrogue.
Yeah.
It looks like it has not come out yet. Per pigeonsimulator.com, it's not out yet. That's cool. We also got one more email here from Flavor Toothpaste. With just a little bit of information, it sounds like. This is titled, Butts 2, The Legend of Curly's Gold. Early settlers of Holt County, Nebraska suffered considerable annoyance and some loss from horse thieves who were known on the frontier by the name of Pony Boys. Flavor Toothpaste. There we go. Learn a little bit of something here at the end of the show.
Questions usually end in question marks. But that's fine.
It's a mailbag. Is that a question?
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
No, mailbag. Although, should we get Heaton? I saw Heaton creepily staring over your shoulder, Bryce.
Yeah, I think he wants.
Yeah, no, this is a pony story. I'm gonna go get Heaton. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm afraid that as the second guest in the 7 Acres Wood DC studio, I don't have the ridiculous dinner jacket that Heaton sported last week.
Yeah, it was great.
And I feel inferior because of it. I do feel.
I feel like you could overpower.
Now, if
you've got a fucking frame on you that'll just overpower him. You can break his leg like a horse, and you'd have to shoot him afterward.
Ladies and gentlemen, upon hearing that we have a horse-related question, we went to our equestress extraordinaire. Ladies and gentlemen, the horseman cometh. Let's hear it for Andrew Heaton. Here, have a seat. There you go.
Oh yeah, he's gonna take Bonnie's seat.
Hey everybody.
Hey, Andrew.
I'm delighted that I'm the go-to horse guy.
All right.
In Texas, no less. That's something of an honor.
Heaton, we're just going to read this that we got in our email, and I want you to say honestly whether or not you are aware of this or not aware of this, because you are the most knowledgeable horse expert that we could find in the studio. So Bryce, just go ahead and read that one more time.
Fair enough.
Early settlers of Holt County, Nebraska suffered considerable annoyance and some loss from horse thieves, who were known on the frontier by the name of Pony Boys.
And so the thing is this my knowledge of Holt County, Nebraska, or the etymology of the term Pony Boys?
Are you aware of this, or are you not aware of this?
I was not aware of that. I have heard of Pony Boys. I do not know the origin of the term.
You probably know the other more modern Pony Boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Heaton. Let's give him a real ring.
Thanks very much.
Although
what about the horse boys? We have the four horse boys.
I was about to say, this is as good a time as any for us to bring up the fact that among our most favored patrons are the four horse boys of the apocalypse. And it's been a hot minute, Justin, since we figured out some kind of delightful reward for those four. Like, we treat them like Supreme Court justices, where it's like you're not expected to do it forever, but you should be proud of the time that you served, and then we should do something special.
You don't question them about anything.
Well, I mean, they get to tell us literally what the truth is. If they say, like, sorry, we all got together and we decided up is down, guess who's wearing his pants on his head now?
Penises are
I'll tell you do make a really good point, because there's been a lot of time and effort spent over the last year and a half getting this whole studio and stuff up and running, but it's about time that we spent some time on some Night Attack projects. So
maybe we could do man, it's been a hot minute since out of nowhere we did a live stream just for the horse boys. Maybe we can pop that up here shortly.
We will figure it out. But we got the horse boys on our mind now. So a big shout out to the boys.
That does sound like a Taylor Swift song.
Shout out to the boys.
Shout out to the boys.
Shout out to the boys.
Horse boys on my mind.
Really? Wait, do you think that would be a Taylor Swift song? How would it
Got
go?
them horse boys on my mind. And I know that I'm gonna find the meaning of life with my horse boys in the schwood. I'm gonna break it down 'cause I know I should.
God damn it, you're welcome, Taylor Swift. That one's free. That one's on us.
You can have that.
Thank you very much, patreon.com/nightattack.
Thank you,
honestly, the more fucked up he gets, the easier it becomes. It's like a fucking superpower.
Hey, man, if you are a fan of All's Well, a Night Attack album, do us a favor. It's out of our hands. We can't shout, rain thunder upon various people. This is a time of subtlety. It's remember when Obama won the election? It's because a bunch of people individually figured out how to convince other people that he should be president. So wouldn't it be great if all of us worked over the next 9 days? We have 9 days to convince the Academy that Night Attack album All's Well should be nominated for the Grammy.
Hell yeah, folks. Head on over there right now. Again, all hail Cogswell. The man is a genius, and I would only want to honor him. And thank you to everybody who supported us with this album to the point where we got fucking shortlisted for a Grammy. Let's go ahead and take the recognition of that. That doesn't happen but to 100 comedy albums, full stop, and we're one of them. So thank you, everybody who has supported us up until that time. Hey, Will, where can people find you and what you up to?
So people can find my shit at entail.com, ENTALE.com. It's a new type of podcasting app that uses AI to go and find really exciting stuff. So as you're listening, you can find out more about your hosts, more about what they're talking about, more about all the context that they're listening to. It is podcasting taken to the next level, ENTLE.com. Or you can follow me at Wil Harris. That's Will with 1L Harris.
And you can find him at the end of an abandoned mine shaft at the top of Snowbird Mountain.
Hey, Brian, what did we learn today?
Man, we learned that that the moment a horse question comes up, a random Andrew Heaton appears.
Indeed. We learned that there were more than 0 episodes of American McGee's Grim.
Most importantly, we learned that we have an opportunity to get recognition for the international superstar, the global talent, the musician extraordinaire, Stephen Cogswell. If only we could reach out to all members of the Academy and get this motherfucker nominated for a Grammy.
But mostly, Brian, we learned that we will see you next Tuesday.
Yeah. Dying of fire. Unless you're in the Academy, in which case, please nominate Cogswell. Oh, shit. Who's the bit boss?
That is B. Coford.
B. Coford, you're the only fan we've ever loved.
Of Drano. Night attack. Night attack. Night attack.
Night attack.
Night attack. Night attack. Night attack. Night attack. I love you.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.